Here's a question I get all the time. Joe, how do I get clarity and separation in my mixes? It's the wrong question, but don't worry, we're going to talk about it. My name is Joe. This is Home Studio Corner. If you like making music in a home recording studio, you're in the right place. So, quick story. Last month, every month I do a live stream for my VIP members. And on that live stream, we listen to their challenge submissions. So I give them a new challenge every month. Some months it's a recording challenge, some months it's a mixing challenge. Last month was a mixing challenge. Specifically, I gave them the tracks to one of my songs to mix. It was actually one of my band songs, Stare Down. And we got on the live stream and listened to their submissions. It's always a really educational experience because you get to hear a lot of different approaches to the same exact tracks. But I also heard a lot of common problems and mistakes. And those problems and mistakes generally almost always centered around some type of imbalance. Imbalance. There was usually, typically I wasn't saying, man, the EQ's weird, the compression's weird. I was saying things like, I can't hear the snare drum, or the drums are really quiet, and then like the guitars are really loud, and that feels weird to me because in a mix, I typically want to hear the drums and I also want to hear the guitars, right? If I'm going to a show, a rock show, them drums are going to be real loud, right? The guitars are going to be loud too, but I'm going to hopefully, ideally, be able to hear everything in the mix. And that's where I could give you the advice of, hey, the balance doesn't feel super good, right? The drums feel super far away and quiet. Everything else is up close, or there's like variations of it all. I kind of want everybody to kind of come to the party, and I want to hear everyone. And the problem is people will take that to mean that I'm asking for a bunch of separation and clarity. Like I want to hear every piece of the puzzle distinctly. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Don't think of your job as being a separator. You're a mixer. You want things to blend and overlap. That's where the glue and energy comes from. And if everything is too carved out and separate, then your mix is going to sound really lifeless, dull, and flat and boring.
This is a standing ovation, by the way. If you're not familiar with him, that's Jordan from Hardcore Music Studio. He is fantastic. I'll link to that video in the description. You need to make sure you're subscribed to him. But he is 1 bajillion% correct. We are mixers and not separators. I'll prove it to you with 2 examples. 1, a cake. If you bake me a cake and I can taste the eggs in it, something has gone horribly wrong. Or if you make me a steak, which would make me even happier, by the way, and you bring the salt separate from the steak, like you cook it, and then you expect me to eat the steak and then eat the salt, or eat the salt first, that doesn't make any sense, right? The whole point of the salt is that it enhances the flavor of the steak, and the whole point of the egg is that it does something inside the batter to make cake become cake. I don't want it to be separated. I want it to be mixed. In a mix, some of the tracks are meant to be kind of mushed together and packed in tightly into this wall of sound. I don't need to hear each individual part because they add up to create something really cool and really special, and something you can't get if you're worried trying to separate each individual brick from this wall. I don't care so much about the bricks, I care about the wall. I want a cool wall of sound, not a bunch of individual bricks. The problem with separation and clarity is that your mixes end up sounding timid. They sound wimpy. Here's my advice: go bold. I had a friend, before we would play a live performance, he would say, go wrong and strong. In other words, if you're going to play, you might as well play out. Even if you're going to make a mistake, you might as well lean into it versus sitting back and playing really timid, which is boring for you and boring for the listener. I heard a story about Chris Lord-Alge where someone sent him a mix and he sent back his first mix and they said, hey, we could use some more bass. And instead of just pushing the bass up just a little bit in the mix, he went in and cranked that sucker. He did a big, bold move because big and bold is a lot of times the right way forward. Not always, but I would argue maybe you can enter into a season of being big and bold versus timid and scientific, and you'll end up with better mixes because of it. By the way, if you like videos like this, you would love being on my email newsletter. I've got all kinds of fun things planned, but you don't get them if you don't subscribe. And I'll give you a free gift. It's my 5-step mix guide. It is a blueprint to help your mixes go from here to over there. So go check it out at 5stepmix.com. All right, that's enough feather ruffling for today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And also hit the like button and maybe share it with a friend or an enemy. I don't really care. Thanks for watching. See ya.